Good evening. So thank you all for joining us at the Bar Center this evening. And thank you so much to the Committee on Children in the Law and to Judge Levine, I should say. I apologize, I'm 11, so. But yes, thank you so much for all that you've done and for being here every year for us. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sherry Levin Wallach, and I'm the 125th President of the New York State Bar Association. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here and to really be here among so many friends and to meet so many new friends at the Bar Center this evening. Tonight, as I mentioned, we are here to present the committee's Howard A. Levine Award. Thank you so much, Judge Levine, for all that you have done. The award, the Howard A. Levine Award for Excellence in Juvenile Justice and Child Welfare, is named in honor of Judge Levine for his long and life commitment to children's welfare. As a family court judge, as a Court of Appeals judge, as a member of this committee and its first chair, this award is rightfully one of the association's most coveted honors. Recipients of the award meet the high standards for service to children set by Judge Levine. This year's honorees, long-serving members of the state's Attorney for the Children panel, Justice Elizabeth Garry, who I know I saw, there you are. And Douglas Broda. Meet these standards and then some. Congratulations to both of you, and my heartfelt thanks for the good that you do. For more than 40 years, this committee has dedicated time, talent, and resources to the welfare of the most vulnerable children. There is no more important work. Children are our future. My term as president is focused on the future of our profession and of our great association. My presidential theme is investing in the future of our profession. As lawyers, we work to build toward a future based in fairness, justice, and equality. We secure that future by making our association a home for all lawyers, offering camaraderie, support, and everything we need to practice more efficiently and more effectively. We do so by offering young lawyers opportunities for education and mentorship, by embracing our diversity, including our backgrounds, practices, and opinions, and by working together on the issues we confront as lawyers. To this end, I have initiated several new task forces in keeping with our theme. Task forces will include law student members. Recent changes in our criminal law open an opportunity for a more holistic review of criminal practice and the system in general. The task force on the modernization of criminal practice will focus on improving access to justice and ensuring fairness and efficiency in practice and the administration of the criminal justice system. Our task force on the U.S. territories is focusing on the judicial decisions, the territories clause, the common law that has led to second-class citizenship and unequal treatment of the Americans who reside in the U.S. territories. This task force is collaborating with a number of stakeholders, including leading scholars in the field our Committee on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and members from affinity bars from the U.S. territories and many others. Also, with the cooperation of the New York State's Judicial Institute, the state court system, and several statewide associations, Albany Law School and Toro Law School, and our own local and state government law section, I have initiated a task force on the ethics of local public sector lawyering. This task force will evaluate current standards to develop best practices and guidance for attorneys who represent government entities and the individuals who appear before those entities. Our task force on mental health and trauma-impacted representation will explore and study and evaluate the intersection between the mental health system and the criminal and civil justice systems. A key element in finding ways to ensure that attorneys have access to the resources needed to help their clients participate fully in legal proceedings that impact their liberty and well-being. And the rapidly growing and sometimes volatile digital economy and our new emergence into the metaverse and Web3 require our attention as well, to ensure that New York attorneys are properly educated and have a voice in the digital universe. The Task Force on Emerging Digital Finance and Currency will focus on education and the legal issues and questions presented by this industry. I am so pleased to have the opportunity to bring forth these efforts to our profession and to this association. And before turning this over to our chair, Lorraine Silverman, who I know is here as well, and thank you, Lorraine, for all the work that you've been doing, I'd also like to welcome our Court of Appeals and our new acting chief judge to our Bar Center and to this ceremony. Thank you all so much for being here and being a part of this. I'd like to welcome all of the judiciary and thank you all for being here. There are so many, and I apologize that I will not name you all. And all the leaders of all the different organizations that provide the services to children in the law. And now I have the great opportunity of introducing Lorraine Silverman, chair of this wonderful committee, who will present the Levine Awards and kick off this evening's program. A partner with COPS DePaul, she wants to jump up here, but I have to introduce her. As a partner with COPS DePaul Silverman in Albany, Lorraine focuses on matrimonial and family law. Her commitment to the well-being of children and families is evident in her practice and her extensive volunteer work and her work with this committee and dedication to it. She has chaired this committee since 2019, and she serves in the New York State Bar Association's Family Law Section Committee on Domestic Violence and its Cyber and Sexual Assault Task Force. Lorraine counsels victims of domestic violence through the Legal Project's Pro Bono and Reduced Fee Attorney Panel. Also through that project, she and her law firm host a monthly free clinic on the various family law topics. And Lorraine, before you get up here, I just want to make one last announcement, which is this. I just learned from our wonderful Judge Mendelson that this is actually called the Howie Award. So thank you for giving this award such a nice, wonderful title, and thank you all for being here. Lorraine, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for attending. So before I get started with welcoming and introducing our award recipients tonight, I would love to invite Acting Chief Judge Canataro to please come up to the podium and introduce himself and give us a little speech.
My pleasure. She said introduce myself, so I think my responsibilities are discharged simply by saying I'm Anthony Cannittaro. Have a good night, everyone. But this is the first time I have ever attended the Howard A. Levine Awards, and I understand that they're in their 36th year, which makes them just a little bit younger than I am. So I think this is a long overdue visit, and I'll just say a few extra words, which are along the lines of saying that it is truly an honor to be here and to be part of this very special program. And on behalf of all of us at the Court of Appeals, including my colleagues, Judge Jenny Rivera, Judge Michael Garcia, Judge Rowan Wilson, Judge Madeline Singas, and Judge Shirley Troutman, all of us who are available are here, and all of our New York State judges and court professionals. I want to thank the State Bar's Committee on Children and the Law and your dedicated chair, Lorraine Silverman, for once again hosting the Howard A. Levine Awards program for excellence in juvenile justice and child welfare. The Levine Awards, inaugurated 36 years ago, to recognize those judges, lawyers, and legal professionals whose extraordinary contributions to our child welfare and juvenile justice systems have meaningfully improved the lives of children in New York State. And it was created, of course, to honor the legacy of Judge Howard Levine, whose stellar career in the law, 66 years and counting, includes a decade of service as an associate judge of the New York Court of Appeals from 1993 to 2002. Judge Levine is fondly remembered as one of our finest judges, and his faithful approach to the law, his collegial nature, and deep loyalty to our institution are qualities that I can personally attest to, having had the privilege of serving as a law clerk during Judge Levine's final 3 years on the Court of Appeals. And Judge Levine, I've said this publicly, so it should come as no surprise to you. You've been a personal hero to me for over 20 years. But the reason we are all here today is because of Judge Levine's exemplary service on the family court in Schenectady County, where for the first decade of his judicial career, he embraced the responsibility and the opportunity to improve the lives of vulnerable children and families appearing before him, while working tirelessly to reform our family justice system through his service and leadership on, among others, the temporary state commissions created to reform the child welfare system and recodify the Family Court Act, and as president of the New York State Association of Family Court Judges, and as the very first chair of this committee, originally known as the Special Committee on Juvenile Justice. Like Judge Levine, I started my own judicial career on the family court. Following my election to the New York City Civil Court in 2011, I was designated as an acting family court judge in Kings County, where for 2 extraordinary and often heart-wrenching years, I endeavored to the best of my ability to serve the justice needs of children and families, many of whom were experiencing trauma and disruption in their lives. Now, 20 years later, or 11 years later, excuse me, I can honestly say that it was the hardest job I've ever had, and that I have endless respect and admiration for the judges, lawyers, and trained professionals who devote their professional lives to serving the justice needs of families and children. And so it is truly a special honor for me to be able to congratulate the 2 individuals who are receiving the Howard A. Levine Awards this evening, about whom you will hear more. But in recognition of their extraordinary service and contributions, I would just like to name them. And first, of course, being our local presiding justice of the Appellate Division, 3rd Department, Elizabeth Garry, who's Judge Garry's active leadership and commitment to the 3rd Department's Office of Attorneys for Children has made it possible to maintain a roster of qualified and dedicated AFCs to continue representing the best interests of vulnerable children in court proceedings, despite the fact that the statutory compensation paid to those lawyers for their important work has been frozen for more than 18 years. And to Douglas Broda, who is being honored for his boundless dedication to the children he represents as an attorney for the child in Rensselaer County. For more than For more than 30 years, during which time he's probably received only one raise, Mr. Broda has given his heart and soul to the AFC panel in Rensselaer County and to the children that he represents. Thank you, Mr. Broda, for selflessly working in an area of the law where the challenges are endless and where the glamour and the financial rewards are few, but where your efforts are making a positive difference in the lives of the children you serve. And finally, on behalf of the Court of Appeals and our entire unified court system, I want to thank the members of the committee for the important work that you perform each and every day to ensure justice and fairness for children in your communities and a more humane, effective, and equitable family justice system for the benefit of all New Yorkers. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Judge. I did not go through your resume because it certainly speaks for itself, and we are truly blessed to have you here this evening. So I appreciate that. And to all of the members of the Court of Appeals, we are blessed to have you here as well. So thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lorraine Silverman, and I'm the chair of the Children in the Law Committee for the New York State Bar Association. Welcome to the 2022 Howard A. Levine Award ceremony. Thank you to everyone who's in attendance, both in person and virtually. It's wonderful for everyone to join us tonight. And first, I want to thank Judge Levine for agreeing to chair this committee so many years ago. We've had many phone calls about this committee and all of the work that we're doing. And you have made this committee so many years ago and today the change agent that it is today. Second, and importantly, I want to thank the Court of Appeals for always being in attendance every year for these ceremonies, which reminds everyone of the importance of the work that we do. So thank you all. I see some scattered. Oh, Judge, thank you. Second, I would like to thank our NYSBA, or third, I guess, I would like to thank our NYSBA president, Sherry Levin-Wallach. I'm not sure where she went. And our NYSBA, oh, sorry, Sherry. Thank you. And our NYSBA staff, Cara Dillman and Cheyenne Burke, who without their assistance would make it impossible to do the work that our committee does. And finally, I would like to thank my fellow committee members. They attend meetings, they volunteer their time. These are full-time employees of the judiciary, and they are attorneys who are working, attorneys for children. They make a difference for New York's children. And as I tell them often, I am a much smarter lawyer because of my involvement with this NYSBA committee. And now it's my esteemed honor to introduce tonight's award recipients. Our first award recipient is Honorable Elizabeth Garry. Where is she? Okay, Judge. Justice Garry is the presiding justice of the Appellate Division 3rd Department. Justice Garry's resume and accolades speak for themselves. She was appointed to the Appellate Division 3rd Department in March of 2009. In January of 2018, she was appointed to the position of presiding justice. She has served on numerous boards and professional associations. She's been honored with a laundry list of awards that is far too extensive for the time we have tonight. Justice Garry's experience in and commitment to the principles of justice speak to the very core values that Levine Award celebrates. She has been a leader in the effort to improve New York's child welfare and juvenile justice systems. She demands fairness and justice for New York's smallest citizens. And she calls New York's attorneys to task, requiring us to make sure our child clients' voices are heard, no matter how difficult it may seem at times. She demonstrates on a daily basis a level of respect, dignity, fairness, and a commitment to justice for every participant in the court system, including attorneys, litigants, and court staff. Justice Garry exemplifies the very best of what we expect of ourselves, and her leadership is by example. It is on that basis, of her dedication to the law, commitment to fairness and respect, and passion for the legal rights of children and families that I proudly present the 2022 Howard A. Levine Award for Excellence in Juvenile Justice and Child Welfare to Honorable Elizabeth Garry.
Sweet. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Lorraine. Those were very kind remarks. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much to the Honorable Howard Levine, New York State Bar Association President Sherry Levin-Wallach, Committee Chair Lorraine Silverman, all of the committee members and staff involved in bringing us together here tonight. The Committee on Children in the Law has done and continues to do such excellent work, educating practitioners, advancing the law, and advocating for the interests of children and the attorneys who represent them. Thank you for all of that, and thank you again for choosing me to receive this award this evening. It is, of course, a tremendous honor to be recognized here and with the judges of our Court of Appeals present and gathered, to be recognized with an award named for such an outstanding judge, someone who is truly, you're going to hear it again, truly a hero of our legal community, an innovative and committed champion for young people. Judge Levine has been a pioneering advocate for children and families throughout his career. From the time when he was a district attorney, working with young people through community initiatives, to his service in family court, where he was creating diversionary juvenile justice programs long before many had even heard of the concept of diversion or problem-solving courts. This dedication and leadership continued as he took on more and more prominent roles, and he has been well able to use his influence for the benefit of young people in need of representation, guidance, or assistance. For these reasons, I am humbled to receive this award in his honor. And I'll share with you that the recognition gives me an opportunity this evening to publicly reaffirm my own commitment to do all that I can through my role in our justice system in service of our children and families. It's also wonderful to be recognized alongside Doug Broda. His contributions have directly benefited countless young people, countless, Doug, and not only, of course, through your direct representation of children, but also, notably, through your long-standing commitment and service to our third department AFC program. And Doug has served, I asked Betsy, how many years as a liaison, as a member of the advisory committee? I mean, you just show up, Doug, and thank you for that. We all know we're living in challenging times. And I know that many of you here have seen that very directly firsthand, and for those of you who are watching from afar. Because many of you, like Doug, are deeply involved in the representation of children or otherwise engaged in family law, which is a very challenging undertaking. And I applaud each and every single one of you for the service that you provide day after day. And there's an issue, it came up, Judge Canataro also referenced. I know there's an issue that's on many of our minds tonight. And tonight, frankly, is not really the night. It's a night of celebration, and we're not going to go very deeply or far into this. But quite honestly, if I didn't mention, at least briefly, the current disparity in pay for assigned counsel in different parts of the state, I think I would be remiss in failing to address that issue. So I'm not going to go far with it this evening, but do allow me to simply say, for those of you who are watching remotely, for everyone here, do allow me to simply say that for those of you doing assigned counsel or AFC work, this issue is not being dismissed or overlooked. I and we have heard your concerns, and I know how strongly this impacts on your lives and on your ability to do the work that you so much love doing. So, as you haven't received from me the response that you've been hoping for so far, I'm quite aware that that may ring somewhat hollow, but for the moment, let me simply say that I am grateful to all of you for the kindness that you show, for the support that you show, for the patience that you show, especially or even in these difficult times. I must now, on a happier note, take the opportunity to recognize Betsy Ruslander, the director of our office for Attorneys for Children in the 3rd Department, and notably a past recipient of this award. At every turn, Betsy is a fierce advocate for the AFCs in the 3rd Department and the children that they represent. In my role as the presiding justice, or PJ, as we affectionately say, I'm tasked with addressing statewide issues and considerations and taking in the perspectives from my colleagues on the administrative board and otherwise, and court administrators, and working to synthesize all of that while serving our 3rd Department community. When these topics touch on her fields, Betsy is always there, knowledgeable, experienced, and stalwart in her advocacy and support for the AFCs. And I am extremely grateful for her work, for our professional relationship over these past 12+ years, and for the guidance that she's given me. Even when I occasionally have to depart and I'm constrained to take steps that differ from her sound advice. It is so significant for me to receive this honor at this stage in my career because I've served now as the PJ for roughly 5 years. Throughout my professional life, starting I think when I took that introductory course to serve as a law guardian way back when, I've been mindful of the enormous impact that our legal system does and can have on children. And I've always tried to take the opportunity to protect their interests. As many of you know, there are 2 parts to my role. First, in my casework as a judge, and particularly as an appellate judge, together with my colleagues, of whom I'm not going to name you all, but wow, am I so happy to see that so many of you, all of you, I think, all of you turned out tonight. I am deeply touched by your support, and I appreciate that you're here. With my colleagues, I've paid close attention to the status of children involved in legal proceedings. We have sought to ensure that they receive a full hearing, including being meaningfully involved meaningfully heard on in their cases. My colleagues and I have issued a strong series of cases trying to help ensure that their privacy and confidences are protected by their attorneys and the court. We have issued others upholding the requirement that children be zealously and competently represented in these life-changing circumstances. I'm proud of the cases that I've been able to write, the decisions that I've written, and to join those that I've been able to join with my colleagues on these issues. I hope that they've been helpful and that this body of work has advanced the law in a positive way. As presiding justice, I've also had the opportunity to participate, of course, on the administrative side. And I've mentioned some of that, my work with Betsy, in operational decisions that affect juvenile justice, the family courts, and the representation of children. I've been able to bring our perspective from the third department to the administrative board. And in our own AFC program, I've seen and overseen the work by her deputy director, John Cragnow, who is here with us this evening, and the excellent educational programs that they provide. Among other things, I'll let you know, I review the CLE responses and the comments, and I've been known to make a call and put a bug like, what about this? And I just want to assure you on that front that they, like all the members of the third department, are always trying to do better, even when we already did our best today. Tomorrow we're going to do better. And that's a commitment that that office brings, that the third department brings. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve with you who do that. Finally, and I am wrapping up, thank you. It's a tremendous honor, though I'm so excited to receive this award. Whatever our role in the justice system, as we leave here this evening, may we be inspired to carry forth the spirit of this award in recognition of the outstanding judge for whom it was named, and the many dedicated and distinguished individuals who have received this recognition in the past, with the utmost commitment to protecting and supporting our young people, to making sure they have a voice, and doing all we can to provide what they need to thrive and pursue their potential. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Judge. Our second award recipient tonight is attorney Douglas Broda, fondly known as Doug. Doug is an attorney for children in Rensselaer County. Come on up, Doug. When considering excellence in juvenile justice and child welfare, one name springs to mind: Doug. Doug has been a panel member for over 30 years. He serves as that county's liaison representative to the Appellate Division, Office Attorneys for Children, and serves as a member of the agency's advisory committee from 2011 to 2019, as Judge Garry spoke of. Doug gives his heart and soul to representing children. No job is too big or too small for Doug to take on, and I know that personally. He is the attorney who volunteered to take raise the age clients when very few attorneys were left on the panel with dwindling rates. He volunteered to do off-hour arraignments. He parlayed his own vacations to see children who were in other states. Drove to see them, but like Florida, Georgia, lots of times. Doug would do this to make sure that his child clients were seen. It's frankly amazing. As a member of the Committee on Children and the Law, Doug is involved, very involved. He's committed, enthusiastic, and an intellectual participant. He helps us with legislation. He brings breadth of his experience to everything he does. He volunteers to draft things for us when it's hard to get volunteers because everyone's so busy. He does not just raise an issue or a question or a problem. He provides insight and analysis with innovative solutions. It is in consideration of his service as an attorney for children and the profound impact that this has had that I proudly present the 2022 Howard A. Levine Award for Excellence in Juvenile Justice and Child Welfare to Doug Broda.
Wow. My name is on the same plaque as Judge Levine's. That's an honor that I can't really put into words. But I have to say, Judge Levine, and please forgive me for this, that this is the third greatest honor I've ever received in my life. The greatest honor I've ever received in my personal life was the hand I received in marriage from my wife, Judy. And my wonderful stepchildren, Matthew, Amanda, Lauren, and Scott. Not necessarily in that order. But the greatest professional honor I have ever received first was bestowed on me by the Honorable Edward Spain, thereafter by Judges Griffin, Hummel, Walsh, Keene, Chalakis, and that's not in any particular order either. Better not be, of giving me the honor of representing the most important clients that a lawyer will ever have, the most vulnerable, the most needy, the most deserving of representation. Excuse me. There is no greater honor professionally than to represent children. And I never thought I'd be doing this. I got out of law school thinking I was going to be Perry Mason. That didn't turn out real well. But I found a place where we can make a difference. We can make a difference for the present. We can make a difference for the future. There is no greater honor than representing children. And I am so grateful that for 32 years, our judges have given me that honor. I thank them all. Yeah, I'm crying. This is a calling. If it's not a calling, I don't think you should be doing this. Because they must be a calling. Children must be the most important thing in our lives if we are to represent them. Other than our own families, of course. And I can't put into words how much I feel honored by the ability to do that. I want to thank some other people as well. Lorraine, thank you very much. It has been an honor to serve with you. Judge Garry, those words were way too kind. Betsy, John, I know the people, even on our panel, which is well represented here, our fantastic AFC panel, from time to time express their displeasure at things that are going on in your office. And I get to hear that, and I get to translate it into printable words to pass on to you. But unlike them, I've seen what goes on in other departments, and I know we're lucky. So thank you very much. To my fellow liaisons who I've served with for now a while, well over a decade, from the other counties, I miss you. And I want us all to be together again soon. And, I don't want to close on a bad note either, okay? But I got to pass this on. About 20 years ago, before the last increase, which was 18 and change, I was representing children, and our court was needy. We had people who were aging out, and we had a relatively small panel at that time. And I was borrowing off my credit cards to pay bills, to eat, because I couldn't make enough money at 25 and 40 to pay the rent, to pay staff. I was probably 6 months away from either having to represent fewer children or declaring bankruptcy. Now, I'm not saying that because I think it's anything special. I'm saying that because that's what everybody was facing back then. My peers were facing it too. Every day we were talking about how we were going to pay the bills and whether we were going to give up at least some of our representation of children so that we could pay the bills. We're there again. Our panels are aging and they are shrinking. We need the next generation to come in. Now, we're never going to get rich representing kids, and that's wonderful. We get rich here, okay? And that's an incredible thing. But we also need to be able to have the next generation be able to pay their student loans, which are excessive, and we're not going to be able to do that without a higher pay rate. So hopefully that will be coming, and not for my generation. I mean, we may make a few bucks off of it before we retire, but it's not really for our generation. It's for the next generation that needs to represent the children of the children we represent. So I know I've got an audience here that is supportive, but, I had to say something about it. I am overwhelmed. Judge Levine, I started with this and I'm going to end with this. To have my name on a plaque with yours is an honor I could never have dreamed of. Plus, I am old enough to remember some of the things you did. And maybe not all of them, because I came along pretty late in your career, but I was there for at least some of it. I am tremendously grateful, Lorraine. Thank you so much. I thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes our ceremony. Please join us for drinks. If all of the award recipients could please just step up and join us for some photos. The judges, if you wouldn't mind, please stepping up and join us for some photos. That would be great. Thank you very much for coming.